What's up everybody, I'm Gushi. In this video, we're going to be going over all the stat modifiers within Ghost of Tsushima. I've been trying to get this video out to you guys for the longest time now, but the reason why it's taking so long is because the numbers that I've been getting are kind of inconsistent. So I'll just be going over what I found, all the numbers that I've been getting, and then you guys could determine if it makes sense or not. Before I get started, I wanted to give a big shout out to Mr. Johnson, who put me up to the idea of using the Charm of Silence and the Charm of Inari, and as you level it up, measuring each stat modifier from minor to moderate to major and then finally to massive. He also was nice enough to test the Charm of Silence, specifically for the amount of resolve you get back, and found out that the minor stat modifier gave 15%, the moderate gave 20%, major gave 25%, and then massive is 30%. So I went ahead and tested the Charm of Inari, and the first stat we're going to look at is the melee modifier. While fighting regular enemies, the health bar actually doesn't show up until their health is pretty low. So what I did was test this against one of the duels, specifically General Dogshin, and then use Dance of Wrath, which is the strongest move in the game, so that we can see the most difference in damage as the modifiers change. To keep all the stat modifiers the same, the only charm that we're going to be using is Charm of Inari's Might and the Samurai Broken Armor. And from this picture, you could kind of see why the results are inconsistent. Depending on the background behind the health bar, if there's more contrast between the background and the health bar, there's more of a clearer line to where exactly the health bar ends. If not, it kind of blends in with the background and looks longer than normal. So the first piece of information we need is how much the base damage is. Then, finding the increase from that base damage should give us the percent amount that has changed. So to break it down, the base damage is around 88 pixels, and then having that as a starting point, from the base damage to the minor increase is 17 pixels, the base damage to the moderate increase is 24 pixels, base to major is 29, and base to massive is 36 pixels. And then what I did was put it on a graph, and as you can see there's kind of a linear increase as you go up the chain. Since it's so close, I'm just going to smooth out the line, and so we get base to minor remaining the same at 17, base to moderate is a 23 pixel increase, base to major stays the same at 29, and then base to massive is a 35 pixel increase. So with all these increases locked in, if we just take the amount increased divided by the total base damage, the result should be the percent increase in the base damage. So going off these numbers, the minor mod gives a 20% increase, the moderate mod gives a 25% increase, major gives a 33% increase, and massive gives a 40% increase. And the way we could check this is by using the Ronin armor, which actually gives a percentage of how much melee damage is increased. So while leveling it up, it first gives you a 15% increase in melee damage, and then after you upgrade it again, it will give you a 30% increase. And comparing it to the numbers that we just got before, the weakest upgrade that we have is the non-upgraded Ronin armor at 15%. Next is any minor charm, which will give you 20%. Moderate will give you 25%. Next is the upgraded Ronin attire at 30%. Major will give you a 33% increase. And then finally, massive charms will give you a 40% increase. And so again, this is just my numbers that I got. If you found any flaw in the process that I took, please let me know in the comment section down below so we could all learn and figure this out together. And so the next thing I wanted to test was the health gains that you get from Inari's Might. So again, I tested the base amount of health that I had, and as I upgraded the charm, recorded the increase in health as the modifier increased. And then the results that I got for this were even worse than the melee damage. They were so close that I had to up the contrast of the images I took, and still the difference between each modifier was like 2 or 3 pixels. Minor starts off with a 12 pixel increase from the base amount of health, moderate is a 14 pixel increase, major is 17, and massive jumps up all the way to a 26% increase. And as I graphed it, it looks more like an exponential curve. So this is the first reason why I think this is off. If we use the same formula as before, taking the increase from the base amount of health divided by the total amount of health that we have in pixels, the percentages that we get, are minor giving a 4.5% increase, minor giving a 5.2 increase, major giving a 6.3 increase, and massive giving a 9.7 increase. The way I checked this was comparing these percentages to other save points where I visited more hot springs, changing the base amount of health that I had. And so the save point that I used to collect all this data was around halfway throughout the game. But in this clip, I visited all the hot springs to max out my health, took another measurement of the base amount of health that I had in pixels, and then tested the Inari's Might with the massive modifier, and I got a different percent. So my guess is that it doesn't go off the base amount of health that you have currently, but maybe the base amount of health that you have at the beginning of the game. But honestly, I really don't think it matters how much percent health it gives. If you're playing on hard or lethal, the damage that you take is way more than any health increase that you can get from these mods. And so with that, this covers everything that I can test with the Charm of Silence and the Charm of Inari's Might. If you found any of this useful, please drop a like. And if you like more content like this, come join the Gushi Gang and subscribe to always stay up to date with everything I post. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope to catch you in the next one, and peace.